I doubt I have to give this video some lengthy ass intro about the history of LEGO. You've all heard of it and it's been done countless times by people who can most likely do it better than I ever could. But I am here to talk about some of the LEGO games. Just not exactly what you might immediately think of when I say that. Most of you when thinking of LEGO games would conjure an image of one of the many licensed action-adventure games by Traveler's Tales. However, unbeknownst to most but not all from my generation and above, not only was LEGO making games before that point, but they made a lot of games before that point. The most surprising part being that a lot of it was tailored for PC. This makes a fair amount of them a pain in the ass to try to play in recent years, but I've just kind of always been interested in this era. Ever since I was a kid, I've had a fondness for Legos and a fondness for old media. Even though it's old, not only are they new to me, but something about the visible limitations and workarounds that would make them interesting to me. Could also be why I fuck with Hanna-Barbera so much, but let's get back on topic. So I've gathered 3 games that piqued my interest over the years. I already knew about 2 of them, but one of them is something I only recently found out about, so it'll be fun to see how that one pans out. This game is so fucking weird. LEGO Island was released in September of 1997, developed and published by Mindscape. The development of this game could be a video all to itself, so I won't get too into it here. The game itself is a first-person open-world point-and-click adventure. Now I know that shit sounded complicated at first, but it's actually very simple, and they provide a lot of audio and visual tutorials for those who need them, and niggas who just like to look at the animations like I do.
Hola, welcome, bienvenue, konnichiwa. Aloha! How you doing? Yo! And in any language, welcome to LEGO Island!
That's the Infomaniac, the game's narrator slash partial tutorial giver, and surprisingly enough, the in-universe creator of LEGO Island. He's one of many characters you'll find yourself interacting with, who much like him are just as high energy and can be just as fucking hilarious sometimes. That's the strange appeal with this game. While it gets a narrative somewhere closer to the end, for most of it you really are just spending a day on this island of wackos. The soundtrack is amazing, and because of that, when I got locked into the game, I really got locked in. It's a different type of experience that a game's never quite given me before. It reminds me of watching old stop motion videos and speed builds back in the day. It can feel like a dream at times too. You go to the 3rd floor in the elevator and you're met with this. After hearing people praise the game so much over the years, I didn't know if I was actually gonna enjoy it or not. Since I've never been that used to keyboard and mouse, it seemed like too much of a hassle for such a primitive game, no matter how legendary it was. But no, I get it now. I mean, I had it before, but now I understand it on a much deeper level. It can spark up my creativity and excitement just like the real thing, and that's what all LEGO games should do, really. So, this is a weird one. Soccer Mania was released in June of 2002 on PC and PS2, and I call it weird not only because it's basically a LEGO FIFA game, but it also was a pain in the ass to get any version of this game to run. I didn't run into this issue much with LEGO Island because my locksmith provided me with all the necessary fixes I need. Unfortunately, Soccer Mania couldn't be this simple. Not only did he not have it, but after what happened with Ed and Eddie, I kinda don't like installing older stuff from my abandonware anymore. Plus, the comments indicate that the shit doesn't work to begin with. I have no clue how to work a virtual machine. Well, PCSX2 it is, I guess. The laptop I'm running right now has a much better time playing PS2 games than the older one ever did. But yet again, I ran into a roadblock when the US version ran like shit. But after messing with a lot of settings and using the European version Football Mania, I still couldn't get it to run correctly, but it's in a more playable state than it was before. And after that, you'd probably be thinking I have some strange love for this game too, and that's the reason why I went through all that bullshit just to play it. But no, I don't love it or hate it, I just got very curious and wanted to understand it. When I saw this game, it immediately piqued my interest, not only because it's LEGO FIFA, but it seemed like it was a game at war with itself. The game basically looks like a semi-stylized PS2 game with LEGO minifigs and set dressings adding on top, but those minifigs and set dressings are supposed to be based off of official LEGO themes. And it kind of clashes because the game doesn't go all the way in either direction. It's not really a good effort to blend the styles. Instead of a sports-themed LEGO game, it feels like a LEGO-themed sports game. It could have been any cartoony or stylized brand here and it'd probably fit just as well. The only thing that are brick built is the ones that are taken directly from LEGO sets, and it feels weird when you just kind of place those on top of low poly PS2 environments. The gameplay doesn't feel very inspired either. Even though EA only helped publish the game, Silicon Dreams still managed to make what feels like a pretty simplified version of FIFA with very basic power-ups. Much like the rest of the game, it doesn't really do anything interesting with the LEGO brand. Even the items don't have that LEGO flair to them, they're all pretty basic. It's not like the gameplay is bad though, because it isn't. It's just very bland and uninspired. It's still fast and frantic enough for me to really get into it at times, even when the game is slowing down. The animations that play after a goal are pretty cool. It's not like the game isn't or can't be fun, it just doesn't bring anything worthwhile to the table. The charm of classic LEGO can only get you so far when you implement it this oddly. I find myself more interested in why it is the way it is than I am in actually playing the game itself. I wouldn't mind playing it again, but I'd probably just get bored and stop like I did the last time. Think I'll wait until somebody makes some fixes for the PC version though. I don't know how I feel about running the game like this all of the time. Finally, I get to talk about an N64 game. LEGO Racers was released in July of 1999 for Windows, PS1, and N64. There was a Game Boy Color version, but obviously it's completely different, so I won't be talking about it today. It was developed by High Voltage Software, which confused the hell out of me because I don't remember ever seeing this animation any other times I've played this game. Much like LEGO Island, this game has a legacy of its own, but unlike LEGO Island, I've actually played this game in the past. Didn't help me much in this session though, I forgot how the item system worked anyway. Instead of a Mario Kart mystery box type situation, each colored brick is associated with a certain type of power-up. But if you pick up the white bricks in between, you can build onto the items and make better items. It's a really fun system once you understand it, but the game doesn't really make an effort to make sure you're aware of this. Back in the day, the manual would solve this, but since it's unlikely you're playing a full box copy in this day and age, it could be a problem. This mechanic is one of the things I think makes the game something special. The other being the building mechanic. Like I said earlier, most LEGO games have to spark that curiosity and excitement to really stand out. LEGO Racers does a great job at this by allowing the player to build and drive their own cars and characters. While there are set characters and even presets for the cars, the very first option on the menu is building your own. This is one of the best examples of incorporating LEGO into a genre that already exists. Unlike Soccer Mania, this feels like a game built from the studs up for LEGO. The bricks aren't just there, it's a part of the gameplay and the game's personality. And in terms of personality, this game does have a lot of it. Things feel so much more lively going from Soccer Mania to this game, it's almost ridiculous. While Soccer Mania has obvious next-gen upgrades that don't look bad, it does look a little lifeless. The tracks in LEGO Racers feel much more alive for some reason. Some even have background animations you aren't even likely to notice at first, and all of them have shortcuts you can use to get ahead. The only minor problem I have with this game really is its handling. It might have just been the base I used for my cart, but at times it feels less than tight. I end up wobbling from left to right a lot trying to center myself back in until I either fix it or until I end up drifting. And at the end of my session, this bullshit happened. Outside of that though, I really did enjoy playing this game again after so many years. It's also nice to see emulation of the PS1 version still shits the bed even though it's been so long. After playing these games, the main thing I've taken away from this is that LEGO is such a malleable franchise when it comes to video games. It can fit into a lot of different genres if it's done right. While I fucking love the TT games, I'd be lying if I said I didn't wish it was a more balanced thing. Also, this is me just kind of heat of the moment, remembering as I'm recording, Soccer Mania got some fire-ass music and I didn't put that in the script, but y'all gonna hear it.
Brick by brick, tack by tick, no matter how thin, no matter how thick. Papa told Mama and Laura told Nick, you can move a mountain if you do it brick by brick.